Hello, my name is Ben Margulies. I'm a postdoctoral fellow on the ERC Diasporas and Contested Sovereignty project here at the University of Warwick. The main focus of our project, of course, is the way that diasporas mobilize politically in their countries of residence, either for local political causes or causes in their countries of origin, in their homelands. But you can't really study diaspora politics in the current age without looking at some of the wider political phenomena that are developing in Europe and other countries at present. And of course, the most notable of these in the last several years has been the rise of populism, especially right-wing populism, in many European countries and now the United States. As part of this project, I started looking at the way populist governments sustain themselves in office, especially in relation to their linkages with actors in other countries, and in relation to their opinions about immigrants and related topics. And I started looking specifically at the case of Hungary, which has had a right-wing populist government since 2010 under Viktor Orban. And the question I asked was, how did this government, with so many links to mainstream European political actors, manage to sustain itself without really facing much criticism or many obstacles over so long a period of time? And this is important because populism relates to questions of who gets to be in the nation, who can leave or enter the nation or Europe, the security of borders, and questions of a country's external and foreign policy. So all of these are of critical importance to where diasporas choose to settle and whom they choose to lobby. So looking at the Hungarian case, I found three main phenomena at work here that influence the survival and success of the Orban government. The first was that the links between Orban's party and the mainstream center-right parties weren't very effective at encouraging him to adopt a more liberal standpoint. European center-right parties couldn't threaten not to admit Hungary to the European Union, and they were afraid of alienating Orban because they would lose his votes in the European Parliament or his support in foreign policy or European policy. So there wasn't much effective pressure coming from that quarter. At the same time, radical right populist parties in Western Europe were forming links with similar parties in Hungary, especially Jobbik, which is the most right-wing party. And they were transmitting these populist exclusionary narratives into Hungary, where they were being picked up by Orban to gain support, and thus influencing a negative stance toward refugees from 2015. The final finding was that Hungary, at both the party and state levels, had developed strong links with similar actors in Russia, with Putin's government and with Putin's party and with various institutions. And this created this sort of community of common interest, of a common worldview, since Putin also adopts this nationalist authoritarian, a very defensive form of nationalism to justify his rule. And that gives Orban's government a degree of ideological support and leeway to continue its right-wing policies. I think this paper can help us understand how domestic and transnational political phenomena really affect how diasporas can settle and how and where they can lobby for causes both in where they live and in their countries of origin.